What is up, guys? It is your boy Amish Hammer back with another video. Today is going to be a little bit of a random one, a truly one take tutorial, because I did not really plan this out. I just kind of am doing this on a whim. Today, instead of going over a build or an echo or a codex or anything, we're just going to go over some quality of life settings and just things that I do as a Dexer that helps make things easier. It might not specifically mean that it's for a Dexer, but most of the stuff I do is Dexer based, so take this with a grain of salt. It's quality of life for pretty much everyone. We're going to try and keep it short, but who knows what the hell I'm going to talk about, because I don't even know. The only thing I did plan out is the first one, because it's actually kind of important to know for a new player, and that is, if you're a new player or a player echoing to a Dexer, here's a very, very fascinating tip. So, first we get a wooden training weapon. So it comes in a sword, a kris, or a mace, and that is for training your skill up. Now, why would you do this? It only does 1 damage, right? That is the reason why we choose it. So in the new player dungeon, we do get a massive boost to the amount of skill that we gain. But unless you really want to earn money while you're training your skill, you're probably not going to earn too much, because you get 80 points pretty quick. You'll probably earn 5k if you get 80 points. But the reason why we go with the wooden trainer sword is for certain mobs in here. I think there's 2 or 3 of them. I think there's the frog, the troll, and I think there's an orc. But they regen their own HP. So, unfortunately, this one is down, but it's all the way on the north end. So it just goes straight through the dungeon all the way to the north end. There might be more mobs that have this. I just can't remember off the top of my head. But they have a regen life feature, which is very good, because instead of running around and like killing everything, so like take this for example, I'm gonna beat the shit out of this thing and I'm only doing 4 to 6 damage, but that will take forever with this weapon, which means I'm not gonna be having to run around to kill everything. But if you're fighting that troll up there that has the ability to regen HP, you could literally just go up there, hit it, and AFK for 30 plus minutes maybe, and come back and you should be finished. The only thing you really have to worry about is other players just for some reason being a dick and going to kill it. This is kind of like the Shelter Island new player dungeon version of a battle trainer. You can, after going to 80, go to a battle trainer. If you do not know what that is, there's a bunch of them. Here. Respawn. There's a bunch of them around. A lot of people have them. I think there's one at Outpost Gate. There's one at Prevalia Gate. And all you do is you just stand there and beat the shit out of it. And then you gain points. It's a fantastic way to level a bunch of skills. You can level any weapon skill. You can level healing, anatomy, arms lore. You could level so many things on them. You just have to figure out the mechanics behind it. See right there? It just said regens, so it literally just regened all of its HP. So that is the first tip. I know, not very impressive, but it's very helpful, trust me. For someone that has been playing on this server for about 3-ish years, I didn't really know about that. Um, it's definitely something players should look into. It's a very handy feature. Next, we're gonna get to a more quiet spot, so we're gonna go to my house. And we're just gonna talk features. So, what are some features that I personally use? Well, first, as a Dexer, the two major features that you should be using is oh, not my main bag anymore, are the codexes and the Shiv book. If you don't have Shiv on your Dexer build, you should probably look into it. It's very good. And then we have all the codexes. Now you could have the book open and switch to whatever skill you want manually like that. Same with the Shiv. You can cast it through here, I think. Or you can go into the commands. So right here, commands in the options. And if you go to Codex, they have Codex Hotbar. Now, I already have this lined up with a hotkey. So this is a very important thing that I'm just gonna show you guys in-game macros because it's super simple to set up. So right here you see I have a Codex hotbar and a Shiv hotbar. So right here is the command for the Codex hotbar. So we'll go to Codex hotbar. You have to make this yourself, but it's super simple. You just hit new macro, name it whatever you want. So I have it named Codex hotbar. Then in the pull down, you go to say, and then you copy the command. So you have Codex hotbar, or bracket Codex hotbar, and then you hit apply. Now you can up here bind it to a button, or you can create a macro button, and this is what I usually do. If you don't see this, you could also just click on here, hold, and drag, and by default you make a Codex button. So now what that does is this right here is the Codex hotbar. So close that, and now if I double click this, there you go, it pulls this up. And why is this important? Because this is an on-the-fly thing instead of you having to go and open it up. And it also allows you to take advantage of a specific feature that you can only get in this hotbar. And that is originally designed for discipline and wrestling. So I will go over this very quickly. In discipline, in the aspect, there's a ability. It's the third ability. It says melee damage and resistance bonus after using mana. Now, how we used to have to do this for every weapon skill before they updated it, we would have to drink alcohol and get drunk, and every 10 seconds we would hiccup and it would use mana, and that would count as resetting all your skills, and then you would be able to use the mana. You would get that boost. Now we have this feature right here in the hotbar. So all of these at the very top, you'll see the different types of weapons, and that means it's for that specific codex. So right now I am in my swordsmanship codex because I'm on my echo for swords. Now, if I want to take advantage of this, I could choose any of these, and instead of manually clicking it, you'll see to the left of it, there is a gray box. This gray box, I could put a check mark in, which means every 10 seconds that I am in the heat of combat, it will go, oh shit, Amish wants to renew the stance. And what that does is it will reactivate that stance for the next 10 seconds. So it uses, I think it's 2 or 3 mana. It used to be, I think, 5 mana every time, which really kind of sucked, but they shortened it, so that was nicer. And this is very good because, one, you get the bonus for discipline, But also, if you are using wrestling, like my original version of this build, you will know that every stance for wrestling has its own ability that benefits from using mana. So what does that mean? Take, for example, Dragon Stance, which is this first one. It uses 5 mana every time I get a weapon special off, but if I use the Adoption Stance, which is when you recycle, it will double the damage. So, unfortunately, Dragon is not a very good stance to use because it uses so much mana. But if you're able to keep up with the mana usage, you will do a lot of damage. This is just an example. Bonus doubled for the first 10 seconds after Adoption Stance. So it doubles the abilities of your skills if you cycle it like that. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen with every weapon skill. It would be really broken if it did, but just so everyone knows that it's a thing, there you go. Next, we do have the Codex or the Shiv hotbar, which I will just show off really quick. Shiv hotbar in the commands, you can go over to Chivalry, and then the bracket Chivalry hotbar is what you would put in for the macro. And then once you pull that up, you will get a button again, and all these are customizable. So you double click it and it will pop up the bar. Now, why do this? Because now that you have this bar here, you can change the different styles that it is. I prefer this one. It just feels neater to me. So you can have it set like this. You can change all of them, but also it has the gray boxes here. Now that auto renews that spell whenever you have a need for it. So I build my template is based around weapon specials and weapon special damage. So I have Consecrate Weapon always active. So that bar, this spell right here with the sword, that is always active. That will increase my weapon special damage by a certain amount, and it lasts for the next 30 seconds. But since I have it activated, anytime I'm in combat, it will automatically cast it if I have the points for it. And just because of it automatically renewing, it will always be active unless I don't have the points. So I have that, and I have Dispel Evil active. Dispel Evil literally only costs 1 point. So you're hurting yourself if you're not using it. It gives you a chance to reduce any damage that you take to 1 damage, which is broken. And it gives you a chance to reflect any spell. I think it's a 7% chance or something like that. So you get it's a small chance, but you might as well cast it because it's only 1 point. Okay, next. Enough with the hotbars. We do have a bunch of other macros that you can set up that I can make another video for if you guys would like, but I'm not going to dive too deep into it. But you can make things like let's just do like the paper doll, and then you can go and do advanced button editor and say I want to use 175 generate preview. Okay, nothing there. 250. What's at 250? Nothing. 350. Anything? No. Okay. Weird. What is going on here? 400. Okay. Never mind. Wait. Ah, there you go. I fucked up, guys. I'm sorry. So, yeah. Sorry. You have to activate and use the graphic. That you have to check mark that. But you can change it to different things. So it doesn't actually have to be that disgusting blackish square that I always use. I just like it because it's simple. But you can change it to just random things. So 275, what's that? There you go. If you want your fucking paper doll to be the Samurai Empire login screen, that could be your whole button. You could just have that on your screen, and then anytime I double click that, it will open up my paper doll. If I really wanted it to. It's a little obnoxious, but it's a thing. You can do it. You can scroll through all of them. You could be an interior on a stocking. There you go. If you want that as your macro button. There's a lot of things. You have a lot of buttons, a lot of random shit. You can do that if you really want. Some of it obviously doesn't work that well, but if you're trying to save space, there you go. You can have a quiver, and then you could somehow use that. I don't know what you would use it for, but you can. So there you go. I'm not gonna bind that to anything because I don't want a quiver as my button. Okay, next we're just gonna do some quick general setting stuff that I think is kind of necessary, and everyone should actually use these, because this is not just a Dexter thing, but more just quality of life for everyone. Auto open doors and smooth doors. Smooth doors doesn't really do much that I've noticed, but auto open doors. Just run into a door, boom, automatically opens it for you. Fantastic. Set that up. Auto open corpses. So this one's actually pretty good, but it can get you in trouble. And what I mean by that is, on the server, you can go criminal from looting a corpse that is not yours. So what you want to do to stop that, we're going to go to commands once again. Picking up a theme here. Command is fantastic. Go to mechanics and then do where is it? There it is. Page 3 of 4 in the mechanics tab at the very top left. Prevent criminal looting. What this means is, if the corpse is not gray to you, you cannot open it. That means that will prevent you from opening up a blue corpse. Someone else killed, say someone killed a demon, and you just ran over and you opened up the wrong corpse, and you opened the corpse that they killed, and you're not in their party, you're not allied to them, you're not in their guild. You opening that up and taking anything would cause you to become a criminal, which would mean anyone can attack you. So this little feature right here, if it says prevented, that means you cannot open anything that is not yours, which is a lifesaver, especially for newer players. The less that you die and less stuff that you lose as a new player, the better your experience will most likely be. So keep it at 2 tile range by default. Skip empty corpses, of course. That's all for the general up there. Now we're going to go to mobiles. So this one, I actually have a couple that I personally enjoy, and one is show HP. So we just do percentages, not a line or anything. Percentage will just like say this eagle is at full HP, but if I go and attack it, since it will show less than 100%, if that thing takes 1 damage, it will be at 99%. So it'll show above the head of the mob how much HP it has. That goes for players and everything. So if they're not full HP, it should be showing you exactly how much HP they have. Highlight poison. highlight paralyzed, highlight invuln. That stuff not needed, but it is it's nice to visually know these things, so might as well have it. Let's see, this aura under feet. This is something I was telling J-Sticks about last night. This is a very useful feature. As you can see on my character, I have this green crap under my feet. That is the aura that I'm talking about. That eagle out there has a gray aura, so it's a gray mob to me. If a player is red, it will show red under you. So it's a visual reminder for just things to look out for. So if it's green, it's usually someone you're in a party with, in your guild, in your alliance. Then you should visually know, hey, I probably shouldn't attack that person. If it's blue, that means they're just a blue player or an NPC. If it's gray, it's a criminal or it's a mob that you can kill. If it's red, obviously it's a murderer. So definitely recommend that. It's very handy. Hide paper doll in hide helmet. I mean, this stuff you don't really need unless you want to. I mean, all it does is, so right here, it'll hide that look. So now if I reopen my paper doll, it doesn't show all the ring slots and everything. So it's not really needed. I like it because it this allows me to double click stuff that's in here if I actually need it. Gumps in context. So this one I think is actually very useful, and it's the show gump when party invites. So usually if someone clicks on you or they invite you to a party, you will get a system message down here that says something something type dash accept or backslash accept, and it'll invite you to that party and you can join it. Sometimes you're in the heat of battle and you can't just stop what you're doing and type. So having a gump show up, it just pops up in the middle of your screen and it says yes or no, would you like to join this party? That's super simple and it's very hard to miss. So I recommend turning that on. Now grid loot. Grid loot is the next big boy thing that we're going to talk about. So grid loot, we're just gonna wrong box. We're gonna show grid loot really quick because grid loot is very important. The grid loot, you guys are not sure, every mob usually has a amount of armor or gold or regs or whatever. So this that pops up is the grid loot table. So usually by default you get this, which is the corpse. You get the skull and crossbones and then a container. The container is the corpse. Grid loot is this part that pops up afterwards. So now, oh wow, everything's really upset with me right there. What that does is it allows you to, instead of drag and drop, you can just go and click in that window what you want to send to your bag. There's also a part inside of it that says, hey, would you like to set a specific bag as your loot bag? You can click that and then target that bag, so anything that you loot will go into that specific bag, which is very handy. So I personally have that set to both because some mobs will drop certain things that you can't see. Like specifically, take like Lot's Baylor, for example, from Undermountain. It is a mini boss of sorts, and it has the skulls. So whenever you kill it, it has the boss loot skulls. So you don't know what the loot is. But if you have the grid loot on, and the regular corpse open, if it drops a candle or if it drops a fairy fire lantern, or any of the rare items, those don't show as skulls in the corpse. They will show as their items. So if you have that open, you can quickly look and go, oh shit, there's a fairy fire lantern. I'm going to take that before anyone else does. So you can grab that while everyone else is trying to get the skulls. So very handy. There is the Outlands theme. It's just a newer customized version. So, I mean, that's up to you if you want to use it. I like it better than the old one. All right, circle transparency. This one is kind of useful, but I don't like having it on. I like being immersed in the game. But what that does is it just like it hides the walls. So if I have like a trash can behind the wall here just to hide it, you would not be able to see that normally because it's behind the wall. But circle trans will let you be able to see through the wall, especially if you're trying to like lock certain things down. And so you can use that. You can also make a macro for it. I have a button that I could just turn it on and off. Go target range indicator. So this one I don't get too much use out of because I'm not like casting spells or anything. But this one is very useful for using adventurer's ropes. So as you can see on my indicator, since I have a target indicator up, it will tell me the range it is away from my character. And the max range that you can teleport with a rope or actual teleport is 10 tiles. So if you want to get the max distance, you'll know that hey, I can go out here if there was nothing in my way. Unfortunately, I'm inside of a house and there's a wall, so I can't go those 10 tiles. But as an example, I could if I wanted to, I could teleport that far. So it's helpful more for like mages or anyone that uses range stuff. Very useful. Okay, this one is the other really important one that I suggest for everyone. So drag select. This thing is massive. It's very game changing in my opinion, and it is pretty handy. So if you ever see me go like this and that black box is there and you don't know what that is the drag select window. So anything within this window, if I let go, it will pull up their health bar. Now you can set that to different things. So I have a lot of them like not set up. So the player modifier I have set as control. So if I hold control then do this, it will not get that in. It will only get players within that area. So that's really good for like bosses and stuff like that. So if you ever want to get like everyone that's in your party, you can do that. Or if you're trying to get specifically a red or a gray that you want to kill, you can do that. The monster modifier is same with none. The none doesn't really actually do well. So it does not set it to anything. But if you set monsters to none, that means anytime you just hold left click and drag, any gray mobs within that area will get their names pulled. Now that is very helpful. So if you don't have a automatic target macro like I do, so I target the closest mob within a certain range, so it instantly targeted that Etten. If you don't have a macro set up like that, you can still do it this way and manually attack their hotbar. Now you see that it always pops up over here. That's by default. Down here, starting X position and starting Y position, you can change that. So now if I want let's say, I think this one goes down. So no, that one goes over. So we're gonna go over to 1,000, maybe. Nope, a little less than 1,000. So 970. There you go. That's pretty much right on my character. So that's pretty much right on my character. Then we can do increase the range a little to 552 or 522. And there you go, it goes down. So now, if I wanted to always have that mob pop up under my feet, you are usually, as a Dexter, watching your character because you have to pay attention to everything that's going on around you. Now, all your attention is focused right here. So now, I don't have to look over here for a health bar or pull it over. It just automatically is at my feet. So I can always see that in health bar right there. I also will have the health over its head. So if I close this by accident, it will always show it over its head from what we talked about earlier. So very useful feature. That's probably one I would recommend the most to everyone. It's definitely a game changer. The rest of the stuff you can really mess with on your own pace. It's not very important. Let's see. Oh damn, we're at 30 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna do one more thing. Well, two more things. We're gonna go over the info bar. So this right here, usually by default, has hit points, mana, stam, weight, and crim. I think those are the ones that are up by default. But that's what this is up here. So not this health bar with the N on it, but this bar right here. You can custom make it. You can add certain things. So say I wanted gold. And just put gold. Add caps lock on. So now, at the end, if I get any gold, it will tell me how much gold I have in my bag right there. All you have to do is just design it however you want, and then hit show info bar at the top, and then hit apply, and it will show up here. It does most of the work for you. You just need to name it whatever the hell you want. That's very handy. Another quick thing is the counter bar. So we have this bar right here that's at the bottom of my screen. This shows me every item that I usually carry, like the essentials. So as you can see, it's 9 wide. So it's one column or one row and 9 columns. And all of this I could custom set to wherever the hell I want. So say I wanted to put this sword here instead of the rope. Now I have a wooden training sword in my bag. If I double click that, it will automatically equip it instead of me having to drag and drop it. Or you can put the rope back on, and then you could double click the rope and use the rope. It's not going to be the most effective way to do things. You could always set a macro for using a rope, but it's a nice feature to have. Instead of clustering your keyboard up with macros, you can just have it set there. You can have on-screen macro buttons like my Holy Light one, which casts a spell for me if I just double-click that. Or you could have the hotbar. So if you want to chug a red pot, you can double-click it instead of having it bound to a button. That's a really, really simple feature. Next and last is going to be cooldowns. This one, relatively new. There is a massive post on the forum from areyoukidden that talks about all these features. If I can find the link for it, I will put it in the tab in the description. But the cooldowns is super, super handy. So, what this is it is a visual cooldown reminder that you can set for a lot of things. So, I have, by default, they have a built-in bandage timer, so you don't need to use the razor one. You don't actually, I don't need this bandage one up here at the top. It does all of it here, and it visually shows you. So by default, the bandage timer is 10 seconds. Takes 10 seconds to apply a band-aid. So you have all these pre-built ones. The regular one is what you use to make your own custom ones. But they have a criminal timer, a PvP timer, and a bandage timer by default. It's already coded in. And now what that does is I'm going to use a pot on myself. So now I have that. So now you see it's starting to count down when I apply a band-aid. So once that 10 seconds is up, it will tell me, hey, I've healed myself, and it goes away because I have it not showing me by default when things are not active. Because if you have hide when inactive checked, it will just show the no cooldowns active. But if you have that checked, now you'll see that I have my disarm completely up, and it's always going to be up, but it's blacked out because it just means it's on cooldown. There's no, I can use it whenever the hell I want. Once I get disarm off, it'll turn red and go all the way down. I don't like having that. I like visually seeing if there's nothing in the cooldown bar, then that just means everything is ready to be used. All of my macros, I have my healing pots and all this stuff. So now I just have these things set up. Now if I use I use taunt. So double click my shield, click myself. It says there was no creatures nearby the taunt, but it still used the taunt skill. So now my taunt is going down, and it's by default a 30-second cooldown. So once I see that that's done, that means I can taunt something again. So super handy. I will try and find the link for that just to give you guys some information about it. There's a lot more I can go over, but I'm trying to keep this short. So today we are done, guys. Maybe we'll do a part 2 next week. But for right now, I think that's enough random info that will help out. At least it's the bare minimum of the basics. I will see you guys next time. So, you guys have a good day. I will be back next time with more random info. If you guys have any specific requests about learning how to do something, just let me know in the comments. I will go out of my way and try and learn it and help you if it's something I don't know. Please don't tell me to like teach you how to script. That is above my pay grade. I do not understand it. I will send you directly the JSONs. But in-game mechanics, I will try and help you learn it. So I will see you guys next time. Have a fantastic day. Good night.